How the heck are you, everybody? I'm Fastidious. Welcome to my channel and welcome back to the test server. That's right, we are in the Fastidious test server and we're going to be checking out this guy. #1 in my hero showcase for a reason, Hex. He is worth every ounce of hype. I think this guy is fantastic. His damage is so endgame viable. He is so nasty. He is so good. I've heard a lot of contrarian opinions saying Lasir is who we should actually be excited for. I strong disagree. Lasir's great. I have a video coming out on him later today. He is a god of Gear Raid 1. Super cool, nice AoE mage, amazing anti-healing. However, Hex, this damage you're about to see, it's crazy. So what are we gonna do in this video? We're gonna take him into the guild boss. I put a nice infernal team together. He's gonna put out some pretty nutty damage. You're gonna be pretty excited about it. Then we're gonna head into our roster, break down his kit. We're gonna go over how I geared him. And then finally, I'm gonna put a soul stone into him. We're gonna bring him to Awaken level 1 because some people might get lucky enough to pull extra copies this weekend. And then you're gonna see some crazy damage. Okay, let's hop right into Guild Boss, guys. So, like I said, I put a nice Infernal team together. I'm gonna run the absolute minimum team here. I want a full 5-man Infernal team. And then you can see I am bringing Hollow just for the heals and the rage regen, but you can just you're gonna see a pretty good number here. I do not have very good gear, as you will see here on the test server. It's pretty average, I would say, which I think is very representative of what a lot of us have. It's kind of straight on with what my normal account has, and you will see it's pretty cool. So we're gonna bring Pyros as our lead. Pyros is an amazing lead. We're gonna get some nice vulnerabilities, tremendous stuff. Hex is gonna be a big boomer. Zilitu, amazing. She's probably like the best damage dealer right in Guild Boss right now. How is Hex going to compare? Pretty darn well. Then we got Dolores, of course, as our fantastic inspiration, our source of inspiration, our attack buffer, and then Azoth, who you're gonna see can do some pretty cool things, not on the level of a Hex or a Zilitu, but he's an amazing Guild Boss champion, and I actually have a guide coming out on him very soon, so I figured let's throw him in there. He's a good Infernal champ, and let's get it going. All right, let's hop right in. I'm gonna start on 1x here, guys. There's a lot of setup that's gonna go into this. We can skip this animation. All right, so very quickly, I'm gonna place Azoth, since his ult is gonna charge almost instantaneously, and we're gonna place Pyros for the same reason. Then we can get, we can get Zilitu down right here. We can get Hex down back here, and now we can place our support. So there goes Dolores, here goes Hollow, and now we're ready already. We're gonna quickly trigger Azoth, quickly trigger Pyros, and we're off, folks, we are off. So let's let this run. I'll just talk it through like it is a Guild Boss walkthrough as well, just while we watch. I'm gonna wait till about the 427 mark. I'm gonna trigger Zilitu, and everyone else now, we can wait until it's time to take down those shields. Guys, Hex, there's a touch of RNG that goes into this because of his cards. We can trigger Azoth again. Azoth's ult just pops, and now we're ready. So trigger, we can save Hollow. So then we can just trigger Pyros, save Pyros for last, guys, otherwise he'll lock people out with his focus fire ability, and you'll have to wait to trigger their ultimate. But you can see, this is a complaint. You guys know I like to say really good things about this game, but I'll turn on 1x. It's very hard to see the numbers that we're putting out. Some of them are huge, though. We're seeing lots of numbers from Zilitu and Hex specifically that are really high. What's nice with this team, I'll show you the build on Pyros at the end, even though it's not really about him. I have him in really high attack speed, really high rage regen, just so we can keep popping this ult. We get 2 cycles for everyone else's 1. The one difference being Azoth, because Azoth is basically always has his ult open. We'll go over that when that guide comes out. Now that we have some damage out, we can finally trigger Hollow. She's gonna generate rage when she heals, so we need to have taken some damage. We can't be at full health or else she won't be healing, and we won't be rage regenerating. All right, once this meteorite comes, we're gonna let the Infernal, there we go. Okay, we can quickly trigger. I probably sat on Zilitu slightly too long there, but it's all right. She'll still get a nice little lineup. However, Zilitu, her ult lasts so long, you can trigger her a little bit before the shield, as you saw I did in the first round. So we're going. Some really nice damage here, guys, out of only half a team. I'm not gonna trigger Hollow yet until we've taken a bit more damage. And you can see I did Pyros before Azoth, so I am locked out. It is a bit annoying, so you gotta be careful with when you trigger Pyros if you're gonna use him. So here comes Infernal Roar. Let's wait for it. All right, damage. Now we can trigger Hollow for some regen, and now we can trigger. Now get that Azoth, and now do Pyros. So you can see pretty big number already, guys. We are going to be able to get that 4th chest, that 6,500. This is going to be a pretty nice number. We've gotten over 8,000. I hope we get over 8,000 here. It sure looks like we'll be able to. So now, guys, we're done with all the shields, so it's really about timing out Dolores with Hex and with Zilitu. So we'll wait on that. We have some good damage going out, so we can trigger Hollow for some rage regen. Gonna wait. All right, once we get to like the mid-90s, all right, I can trigger. Pretty cool damage, I think. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and let me know if you have any predictions before you're about to see, ooh, let me trigger Pyros. Who you think is gonna put out more damage, Hex or Zilitu? Pretty cool stuff. All right, so we broke 8K there. That's as much as my team does, a full team with honestly better gear, and that was just on the back of these 5 Infernal guys and then Hollow for some heals and some rage regen. Almost 8,500 blood. Really cool stuff. We don't need to save the run here. Let's go into stats, and when you look at that, Hex and Zilitu, I mean, Zilitu's insanely good. Insanely good. She's putting up 23.5 million blood. Million damage, excuse me, not 23.5 million blood would be something. 23.5 million damage, but if you look at Hex, he beats her by like a solid 4.5 mil. He is disgusting, guys. Zilitu is as good as it gets for endgame guild boss, and Hex is out damaging her. So let's go now to my heroes, and let's talk about Hex. He's got a very confusing kit. You guys might have seen videos in the past where if I'm talking about someone like Olog or Scorch, they have these beautiful, simple kits that are so nice and easy to talk about. That is not Hex the Mad Diviner, okay? So we'll start off with the talent. Gain 1 card of Fate with each attack. When having 4 cards, the hero has a chance to randomly obtain and acquire, that's a typo there, obtain and acquire 1 card from the following. Temperance. So this will throw 3 cards, each dealing 140% damage while inflicting a 75% slow. So that's not the best case scenario for the guild boss, right? There is RNG here. Then we get Death. This kind of is. We get a burn and 500% damage. That is awesome. And then finally Strength. We get a buff where we get increased attack speed and 30% increase in attack for 25 seconds. That is really great. So Temperance is the only one that's not gonna be so excellent for us here, but the other 2 are fantastic. Let's talk about his basic, 120% magic damage, and guys, my Hex is skilled up, obviously, this is the test server. So 120% magic damage to 1 enemy, prioritizing airborne units. No airborne units here, but a solid A1. Then we've got this passive, Fate Trial. Each attack launched has a 20% chance to inflict stun. It doesn't really help us at all. And this extra immobilize thing, subjects under immobilize are getting increased damage 60%. So you can imagine how much more he could put out when you can actually place CC effects, crowd control effects. You can't do that against the guild boss though, unfortunately. But he's gonna be amazing for any single target damage content, not just guild boss, right? Anything PvE as well. And then of course also in like single target DPS arena, he's gonna be goated for that. And you can crowd control those guys. Fate the Hermit, when triggered by receiving damage, resists the incoming damage and gains invisibility. Can only be triggered once every 40 seconds. Not too important for guild boss. Resisting the damage, I guess, makes him harder to heal. So with someone like Hollow, harder to regenerate rage, but it's kind of just, this is kind of a wash. All right, the ultimate, when triggered, increases damage by 140%. So all the damage you're gonna do times 1.4, that is nuts. And attack speed by 100. Now that is a significant increase in attack speed. That can knock you down 0.2 seconds. That could knock you down 0.3 seconds depending on your build. Reduces attack interval by 50% and replaces all cards with the Joker. The Joker is nasty, so let's pull it up. Deals 400% damage 3 times and inflicts burning, so we're gonna get that nice dot damage on the boss, and 1,200% damage. That is really good. And then we're gonna get, it's gonna last for a good 35 seconds. It's a pretty cheap cost, guys, at only 900. Very cheap for a skill this potent. It's really good. He is really good. So how do we gear him, folks? I actually thought I'd keep it simple. I put the exact same gear on him that I had on Morrigan. If you didn't catch my Morrigan guide, go check it out. But I love the Wisdom set. I think it's an amazing set for anyone who has a reasonably cheap ultimate. And his ultimate lines up every time we're triggering it when we want to get the shield down and then when the shield is down, so that's when you want to be putting out the most damage. So for 10 seconds after we trigger it, we're getting 35% increased damage on top of all the crazy damage you just saw when he pulls the Joker card in the ultimate, that 1200%. He's so good. So let's break down the gear. Oh, and then I did Annihilating Might just to give him some crit damage. It's a solid build. It's not a crazy build, right? It's not a crazy build. He doesn't have the highest base attack, pretty standard for a legendary marksman. Then we've got Cha-Cha-Cha. His attack interval is fantastic. So this is like as low as an attack interval can be in the game, a base 2 seconds. We added the extra 209. When you get the bump, so the 209 is going to bring him down minus 0.8 seconds, but when we get the bump of that extra 100 attack speed, we're going to knock 0.2 more off of this. So it goes down to just 1 second. That's fantastic. Then we have a very, very healthy, something I'm very happy with, 86.5% crit. If you get him close to 100, it would be the best, but with our gear, it's not that possible. And I think for a lot of you, it might be the same situation, but you can see there's a lot of room for improvement. And then we got an okay, nothing crazy, just the bonus from the Annihilating Might. We got 35% crit damage, touch or rage regen, and we're all set. So let's quickly, let's show the artifact, of course. So I gave him Nether Messenger, I maxed it out. This is probably, I believe, best in slot for him as a marksman in the guild boss. Increases damage dealt to the same target by 10% with each consecutive hit, up to 3 times. And he's obviously only hitting the same target over and over. It will disappear when he switches to different targets. It never disappears, so it's just a base plus 30% damage. It's crazy. He's crazy. He's crazy. He's crazy. All right, so let's give him an awakening here. And let's throw it on. So during the effect of Mad Truth, there's also a chance to draw the Fool. You guys might remember the Fool from when we went over it in the talent. So when he triggers the ultimate, not only is he going to draw the Joker, but he might draw the Fool. It's crazy. 500% damage 3 times and inflicts 75% slow and burning. The slow, we don't care about that burning. I actually think, let me double check it. So now we got an A1 Hex. Hopefully that happens in real life too, not just on the test server. But if we go over here, guys, I think I'm misremembering. Yeah, no, I'm just confusing the Fool with Death. It's very similar, but actually no. The Fool is just the Death times 3. Combine that with the crazy 400% of the Joker times 3. This A1 Hex is going to pop off. I haven't tried him yet. As you saw, I only just awakened him, so I'm excited to see. Let me show you the rest of the team very quickly. Let me go to my Infernal. So you can see we got Zilitu here. Her gear, I would say, is probably slightly worse, but Hex and her are wearing the best gear on my account. So you can see a healthy amount of attack speed, a little bit worse than Hex, some nice attack there. Crit rate is solid, it's not great, but we are going to get some nice bonuses when we do get crits from the Night Terror set. My gear on the test server, guys, is not very good. It's been very hard to find time to farm for it. Definitely something I'm working on. And you can see we also missed out here by putting her in a Whirlwind set. So I'd say her gear is like a notch lower than Hex, so that is something to keep in mind. But even if we flip the gear, I would say at worst they're about even, and I think that's crazy. And you're going to see now with the Awakened one, I think it's going to be a whole nother level. And then for Artifact, we put Void Gazer on her. I actually can point something out. I had her 1 tile too close, so I could have put her 1 tile back. So we'll do that now and see how that impacts her damage, because you want to maximize the distance from the target. And this isn't maxed out either, so it's not purely apples to apples, but again, this is not a Zilitu showcase, this is a Hex showcase. I'll very quickly show you Dolores. She is in, I couldn't get her actually in a Glacier set because I don't even have 3 attack percentage pieces of Glacier. We're really hurting on this count. We went for nice attack speed. We did the best we could with the attack. I think we're just under, actually just over, just over 11k attack. Unfortunately, I didn't have at the time, I think actually I just pulled it because I just did some summons. So we maxed out Ancestral Teachings for Dolores. We're gonna get 16% extra attack. That's gonna go straight towards that amazing inspiration for everyone. Hey guys, Fasty from the future. So Ancestral Teachings was not the best choice. After you guys watch what you watch now, I did like 5 or 6 runs with this new setup with Ancestral Teachings. My damage, even with the A1 Hex, my damage went down all the way from 500 to 1000 blood. So actually Orb of Euphoria is what we're gonna put back on her. So that's what you're gonna see on her in this run you're going to watch now, and it really did make a difference. It really did. And then you guys can see I have 2 Azoths. That's because I actually had to summon for one because we only get 1 copy of everyone in the test server. I wanted a comparison between him awakened and not awakened. However, the awakened copy is what we're using here. We're using Spellcaster's Arrow. And then again, I do not have very good gear, so not a very good build. Crit rate is solid because he's going to generate his own crit rate. Attack speed is solid. Attack is all right, but we could definitely improve upon a lot of this. So that is our Azoth. And yeah, Hollow, I guess I'll just show Hollow. Why not? Let's be completionists here. And then we have got Hollow. There she is. Pretty simple build. I was able to get the Glacier set on her. I guess I could put that on Dolores, but I think it works just fine on her. No problem. Tons of attack speed. You can see I went for attack speed there. I just want to keep this thing rolling. I thought it was better because we didn't have the attack percentage amulet. Better to roll with the broken set for Dolores. All right, let's hop back in here now with our A1 Hex. I'm not going to make you guys watch the whole fight, so I'll probably turn the music up and fast forward a bit through this. But I'm excited to see the results because it's going to be news to me the same way it's it's news to you. All right, guys, let's set up and hop right in. All right, guys, so we're reaching the end of the battle now. You can see we're putting out a decent bit more blood. We're at that point where it's just time to trigger. I'm gonna wait for Zilitu and Hex before we trigger Dolores here. All right, she's about ready. I'm excited to see the numbers. I am. You can see no drastic difference, actually. Let's actually see, are we even gonna beat it here? Now I'm curious. Now I'm very curious. There's a lot of RNG, guys. I think that's my big takeaway. I've done a lot of runs of this now. We actually did worse. That is really crazy to me. That is very much crazy to me, and I think that is a big takeaway from this video. Is Hex unbelievable? Is he worth the hype? Absolutely. However, and it is a niche thing, how many people are gonna get an A1 Hex? However, is an A1 Hex essential? I don't know, let's check the stats. He actually somehow did less damage. You can see there's a lot of stuff going into this, and it's really surprising to me. It really is. So let's head over to our heroes. Let's just reread the A1 when he draws the Fool card. If you guys remember, if we go to Awaken here, Awaken 1, the Fool, there's a chance that we draw the Fool. I don't know what this chance is. I don't know if it's stated anywhere. Let me know if you guys know. It sounds like crazy damage, right? I did do a couple runs where he got to like 32 million damage, but I did many of these runs, it kind of looked the same. Changing Ancestral Teachings off of Dolores and putting Orb of Euphoria back on certainly helped. But you can see there's variance. There's big variance that goes into the RNG depending on what card he draws when, and so on and so on. That's not to undermine just the base level of how much damage he is putting out. Let's pull that right back up and we'll wrap up. He does more damage than Zilitu. I mean, Zilitu is the undisputed queen, right? When it comes to the clan boss and guild boss, excuse me. And I think we have our king, right? I think it's that simple. You can see I've done many fights testing this all out, but if we go to an individual fight, will they show us? They will. So you can see he still slaps Zilitu a bit. The gear was a little bit better, so I think at worst they're about even, and I think that alone makes him someone to go nuts for, because Zilitu she's a goddess, and he's gonna be great in other PvE content as well as the single target arena, and maybe even sustain damage, I bet too, with that burning and stuff. So he's really gonna be instantly one of the very best champions in the game, one of the very best heroes, just like Zilitu. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, please like it. Let me know in the comments what you think. Share it, and I'll see you in the next one.
Fastidious.